So a big hello to our Highlights Foundation family. We're so happy to have you here with us today. For those that may not know me, I'm Kat Galliano. My pronouns are she, her. I am the social media manager here at the Highlights Foundation, joining you from Westchester, New York, on the traditional lands of the Siwanoy people. And apart from all the wonderful things I get to do at the Highlights Foundation, one of my greatest joys is celebrating the book birthdays of our community members, faculty, and friends. Because all of your wins are our wins. So thank you so much for being with me today. And today, of course, we have the honor of celebrating Up, Up, Ever Up, Junko Tabei, A Life in the Mountains, the new nonfiction picture book written by our friend and faculty member, Anita Yasuda, and illustrated by Yuko Shimizu. We are so excited to have all of you here with us today. And but before we dive into all the fun questions, I just want to remind our viewers that joining in any Highlights Foundation spaces to do so with no hate, no harm, and no harassment of any kind. Now let's get
Hi,
started. How do
everybody.
you...
Yay, I'm so happy to be here and to celebrate this beautiful book
Beautiful.
and beautiful illustrations by Yuko Shimizu. And if anybody's in New York on Sunday, that's when we're doing our official in-person launch. So please come. We'd love
Please,
to see you guys in person. Yeah, it's an exciting day because it'll be the first time that we've met in person. So that's
oh
really
my God.
great.
That is,
Yeah.
oh, I love hearing stories like that because for most people who aren't fully aware, I mean, I think there's a lot of kid lit friends here, but for those that are not in the writing space, just want to know that it's not often that the writer and illustrator meets. So when they do, it kind of happens in like the point when all the book is already out in the world. So this is very
That's
exciting.
right. Yeah, that's right. Exactly. Don't really have a lot of communication at all, and that's just fine. But I'm really excited for Sunday. Well, I'm excited that I'm here now, but I'm going to be even more excited on Sunday to meet in
So I'm going to
person.
jump into my first question.
Sure.
How are you feeling now that the book is out in the world?
I feel great. I'm sure everyone's really tired of seeing me on Instagram, but yes, I'm super excited. It's been a 4 year long journey to see this book come into print, and there's a huge team behind it. So I'm so grateful to everything, to Clarion and Harper Kids and my agent and my writing partners who are here. I can see there's Stephanie. Hey, Stephanie. And yeah, it's been a long journey and lots of rewrites too,
Yeah.
right? Before you get that manuscript in shape to even send to an agent, to even get it into, to be sent out then to editors. So I hope everyone can take that something away from it. It didn't just happen overnight. It's definitely years of work.
So jumping off of that, I just want to comment. This is the exact reason why I love doing these book birthday celebrations, because people just sort of see the finished product on the shelf and we're like, yay, we're going to celebrate. But my whole reasoning behind celebrating is the fact that it takes a gargantuan amount of effort, time, and rewrites, and teams of people and critique part from you to critique partners to getting to the agent to then the editor to all the process from like
That's right. Yeah,
yeah,
exactly. It's a
so
big team. It's not just
it's
one person. I mean, you're seeing my
it's
face or you're seeing Yuko's on Instagram. And yes, we did a ton of work. I can't even imagine all the work that she did for these illustrations. It's incredible. But there is a huge team behind it. I recently spoke to students in a northern college in Canada, and some of the questions were really funny, like, why did it take you so long? Because I guess their assignment was to finish a
yeah,
picture book by December, and
right.
they're starting it this week. So I
Yeah,
thought, okay, well, maybe
exactly.
you're just all really quick, but out here, yeah, it does take a long time. But I did love that question. They were really, curious. Something must be up with her. It took so long.
Be like, I wish the whole process was like September to December. If
I
only
know
it
that would be amazing. And they're all going to planning on selling their books. I'm like, that's great. Good for you. Good.
we
Yeah.
need more of those quick processes because
I
more
think so. I love it. I love the
but and
enthusiasm.
that's exactly why I love hosting these celebrations. It's because we want to hear about your process and how long it took. It's like it takes such a big effort and a big team, and I'm like this moment we share together is a moment to celebrate all of that.
Yeah.
So I'm just so excited to chat with you.
Thank you.
My second question is, which I must confess, I did not know who this mountaineer was. And now I feel even more enlightened to know who she is and that this book exists in the world because it's so incredibly important to know the her story. So why was it important for you to tell Junko Tabei's story and for people to know who she
I thought
was?
that she was an incredible person, that she was more of a mountaineer and a mom and an author and a teacher. I mean, this is an incredible feat in 1975. And you have to think this is before mass tourism is hitting
Yep,
Everest. You have to make your way up. You are building those camps.
yep.
You are not, like, there's not something in place. And that the hurdles that they had to overcome, right? From just people who just thought they shouldn't climb, they should stay home.
Yep.
And she chose, that's a line from the book, right? She wanted to be a mother who climbed for her daughter. And that
Mhm.
really resonated with me as a parent. And I really hope that it resonates with other caregivers, parents, and teachers. That's why I wanted to write this book, and I wanted the children to know more about her, and that she didn't just climb Everest, and she went
Mhm.
on. So that was 75, and then by 92 she had climbed, she's the first woman to climb all the highest peaks on each continent, which is pretty amazing. And I think she ended up leading or was involved with 44 all women expeditions, which is incredible.
And I love that you added those tidbits in the story because you could have easily focused on just sort of like her feat to Mount Everest, but I love that you expanded her life and truly did like an all-encompassing um, sort of preview of like
Thank
all
you.
the biggest life, including
Well,
being
it's honestly one of my favorite pages in this book Yuko drew, and it's showing the women all working together. This scene, all
exact.
working so hard on their gear and supporting each other. And I think that that's just a huge takeaway from the book, besides the environmental theme, right? That she went on to really raise awareness through the
Yeah,
Himalayan Association of Japan and raise awareness to like protect these mountain environments. But also that, right?
yeah,
Teamwork, which is really what we talked about right in the beginning about how it just takes a huge team to put together a picture book. Well, imagine it takes even a bigger team to put together a Everest expedition and then go on to protect those environments. It's so
I
important.
think it's also like this book came out at such a timely moment because like you said there's so many articles coming out about Everest being so over tourist like over
Mhm.
tourism areas right now with like there's garbage and whatnot, so it was just such a beautiful kind of
Yeah,
thing that
it's
this
an interesting tie-in, right? And I'm
right.
glad that it is getting attention because she is known more primarily as a humanitarian, and that's through
Hmm.
all of her incredible efforts with, yeah, young people and survivors of the triple disaster in Fukushima, which was earthquake, tsunami, and nuclear meltdown in that area. But she really worked with the survivors and she worked with children to inspire them through these other natural environments. But I think they go on a yearly hike still, her
Yeah,
foundation,
oh look at that,
which
amazing.
is really
Was
amazing, right? Just to inspire them that there is a big world outside their front door.
and I love her advocacy with children like that. I mean that's the whole
It's
point.
huge, right? And that was her last hike was on Fuji with the group. So I think that says so much about her.
um,
Just such an incredible person. You
yeah,
cannot help but feel inspired.
I just love that this book exists in the world now, especially for young people to know that this incredible figure did all these things because like me it never crossed my radar, this person never crossed my radar, and I'm a person that loves to read all sorts of things and try to educate myself, but I'm like this I just never knew, so I'm like this is important, this is why we need to research and learn about other people doing other incredible things.
Yeah, and then feel inspired too. Maybe we're not going to
Yeah,
climb Everest, but
yeah,
that's okay. We're just going to put one foot in front of the other and go forward and just
exactly.
be, I don't know, create a positive change somewhere.
um So my next question is, what was your process like to get this real life story to the page? Talk to us about the research, how the story kind of came to be, like why you decided to do it, like just Talk to us about that whole process.
Sure. I knew about her from being in high school in Japan, and she was always very generous with her time, meaning she gave lots of interviews, she's in the news, so she was always on my radar. And then I have a really good friend who just loves climbing mountains, and she was planning an expedition to Everest Base Camp. And I thought about Junko, and I just thought there isn't really a book that really goes into depth into the area that I wanted to really speak to, right? That expand upon her life. And I thought, okay, I'm gonna start working on it. So she started training for Everest. And I guess I just started reaching out to her colleagues and friends, people she worked with, and I wanted to talk to members of the original team. And I was able to connect with her best friend and team member, and I was able to connect with a guide who had guided her here in Canada in Banff, which was amazing. And then I was really interested, though, in her work with the HAT Japan, which is the Himalayan Adventure Trust of Japan.
Mm-hmm.
I think I called it association before, but that's was really interesting to me. All the campaigns they did within Japan, carry in, carry out, right? Whatever you bring into it, the wild, you're going to bring out with you, right? And just it was just fascinating. I really loved that. And then she's also a prolific author, so I read a few of her books. I don't read that fast in Japanese. I read very, very slowly, so I would just say a few of her many books I read, and really relied a lot on interviews as well. And then secondary resources would be newspaper articles. Yeah.
Thank you for that. I think the beauty of nonfiction is like the ability to do all of that research. And we'll talk a little bit about your upcoming mini in the end,
Yeah.
but just wanted to plug it in there that
Yeah,
the research
no, it's is so important, right? And it's
portion.
fascinating. I really wanted to get to Nepal, but this was during COVID, so that did not happen. But I have done the hike. Her first mountain hike was when she was 10, and I have done that hike, and I did it again when I was back in Japan in February. That's an easier one. I can do that one.
Well, if anything, now you can take your book baby with you when you
Yeah,
go.
that's right. That's what I'm hoping. Yeah, that's a nice little day hike and a nice lunch afterwards. That's kind of where I'm at. Yeah.
So my next question is, can you talk about your journey and how the Highlights Foundation has played a role?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I have been writing for decades, and I worked heavily in publishing. So I've taken lots of different classes with the Highlights Foundation over the years. And I have learned everything from writing a picture book, because I was probably one of those people who had no clue how many words. I maybe I was that person who wrote, I don't know, 5,000 words. Hey, it's a picture book. It's not, right? So I definitely benefited. I remember a class with Sudipta.
Mhm.
That was like so long ago, but I just loved it. I think just the opportunity to connect with other creative people and to hear from really just such a wide variety of authors. That was just such a great experience. And it continues to be a good experience because I'm continuing to do that. And I have a highlights retreat coming up, which I'm super excited about. And that's the verse novel retreat. And that'll be next week.
Oh my God, so soon we'll see you on campus.
You
That's very
will. So I'm super excited. So yeah, I just think that no matter where you are in your career, no matter where you are as an author or an illustrator, there is something for you at Highlights. That's my
exciting.
takeaway.
Thank you for that. My last question for you is, what do you hope kids will take away from your book?
I really want them to know that they can achieve their dreams. That was dreams. Sorry. I think I'm losing my voice. I want them to know that they can achieve their dreams, that they just need to start with taking a step, right? It's just one step. And that's really, I think, what she would tell them, that there is a huge world outside there just waiting for them. And so many wonderful opportunities, right? And I really hope that I hear from readers about how it inspired them to reach for those dreams and go up, up, ever up.
And what I loved most about this book, and I mentioned it a little bit earlier, but was that yes, one step will get, one step towards your dream will help get you there, but also that your dream doesn't end when you accomplish the one thing that you've been kind of
No,
seeking. And that's what
no, exactly.
really
It
went.
keeps evolving.
Yes, it keeps evolving, and like you showed that with Junko, that it was like, yes, she accomplished this amazing feat of climbing Mount Everest, but she also loved being a mom, and then like developed that into her charity work and her humanitarian work, and
Yeah.
like it just
And
evolved.
going back to
Yeah.
school, she went back to school as a mature woman, and that's when she
Yes.
did her master's, and that was part of her thesis was doing the, so that's what she wrote about actually was the garbage issue on Everest.
Yes. And I love that because so much of us, they're like, I want, I have a dream, and like I can, myself included, I'm like, I want my book to be on the bookshelf one day, but it's like, yeah, but like I would like to also have a career. So it's like it's just so important, and I loved that you mentioned that, and that was such part of the story alongside her ginormous accomplishment of being the first woman to climb Mount Everest. So
Fine. But she
I,
had a team, right? And
yeah,
that's really, I think, what
exactly.
this book shows you, really to uplift others around you.
Yeah. So I'm
Yeah.
like that one step, that one belief, that teamwork, it just truly,
She's
every,
inspiring, and I really hope that people do feel inspired because I do, and I still do.
and your words
And
are just so beautiful. I mean, like the artwork is phenomenal. So please, like, do yourself a favor and pick up the book for the artwork. It is gorgeous, but the words were so lyrical. It just like the way it flowed. I can't thank you enough for letting me um
uh,
get to read this beforehand. It was everything about it was just it moved me. So I really
thank
thank
you so much. I've just loved being able to share this book all week.
you.
And I'm looking forward to keep continuing to share this beautiful book with people.
I don't see any questions in the chat. We see lots of love, but wanted to give you the opportunity if you wanted to add anything. I know you mentioned the Books of Wonder event, so if you want to just kind of re-share that information for those that tuned in a little later.
Sure. So I know that there's a huge book festival in the New York area on Saturday. So if anybody though is staying around on Sunday at 11:30 a.m., myself and Yuko Shimizu will be at Books of Wonder. And we are just can't wait. So Yuko will be doing a little bit of drawing. There'll be some activities, and I will be reading from our book.
That's amazing. Um, and I'm just gonna wrap this up. I'm so sad because I could chat with you
Oh,
for longer, but um, so I just want to congratulate
thank
you
you.
and you for the beautiful new book, baby, that's out in the world. For those that may want to order a copy, you can always purchase books at our virtual bookshop powered by bookshop.org. Will there be signed stock at Books of Wonder in case somebody can't be?
Yes, there are, and that'll be the only opportunity to have both signatures
Okay.
in the book. And if
So
anyone's ever at the Highlights Foundation, the cover is up in the Asian cabin.
yay! Asian American Collective Voices Cabin. If anyone wants to preview that, if you're on campus, please make sure no one's there. And if not, just knock on the door to see. to knock.
I'll be doing that. I'll be knocking.
And I did tease this a little bit earlier, but Anita will be co-teaching the upcoming Research Techniques, a two-night mini taking place on October 22nd and 24th, where Anita, along with Jolene Gutierrez and Stephanie Gibo, will be going deep diving into all things research, which I'm excited to watch after the fact because
Yeah,
I'm a
it's going to be a great mini, and so I hope that if you're really interested in research for fiction and nonfiction, that I'll see you there.
which is key to remind people because some people think research only means nonfiction, but
Mm-mm.
would like to know what temperature and weather it is in my book because I'm picking some random city I haven't been to in a while. So it is important to research
Yeah, it's
also for your.
huge. It's a really important part of fiction. So, yeah, if anyone's interested, that's
That's
happening next
happening
month.
soon.
Yeah.
And thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. from all over, and we hope you have a great weekend. And those that can make it to Books of Wonder, we hope to see you there. And if not, we always welcome you on campus. And thank you, Anita.
Thank
I
you.
can't wait to chat with you again
Yay, on campus.
on camp.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you.